Welcome to another edition of the Weekly Wednesday Weigh-In. This is the first full episode video we are trying out with our new camera here, new equipment. I'm here at the home of Bill Barnes. You can't see the outside of it, so we're trying to keep this like a bunker, Bill, so that no one knows where your address is. But thank you for having me today. It's Monday morning, and we just posted a Facebook Live video that's going to kind of always promote the upcoming Wednesday episode. So, Bill, what do you think of some of these changes we're doing?
Well, it's about time we get, in the 21st century, for Christ's sake. I thought I was, we've been communicating with tin cans and a string. It's about time we jump into the scientific world or the big tech world and bring us up to the, Garth and whatever his name was.
Garth and Wayne, in the underground secret basement in Shawkegan, Illinois. So anyway, I got crap on my shirt, as you can see, but I'm too lazy to change it. I don't really give a shit. So let's proceed, shall we? Yeah.
I'm not in a really good mood today. There's been a lot of bullshit going on. I'm angry and I want to vent. Let's start off if we can. If you don't mind, I know it's your show, but I usually take over on Wednesdays.
Go right ahead.
We have a real problem in this state with this zero bail COVID emergency bullshit. Okay. A prime example was happened Saturday morning in my beloved city of Riverside. A 64-year-old Asian woman, and it doesn't matter if she's Asian. She could have been black. She could have been Hispanic. She could have been, Puerto Rican. She could have been, God only, her Hungarian. It really doesn't matter. This woman at 7:30 in the morning was out walking her dog, minding her own business, when a whacked out 23-year-old crazy lunatic transient from Monterey Park, for no reason, stabs her to death. For no fucking reason, stabs her to death. She then flees through some yards. Some people point her out to the Riverside police. They arrest her, unfortunately, without incident. And she is then, there's some evidence there that leads her to being the assailant in this. They arrest her and book her for murder. Okay. Now, this could have been avoided, should have been avoided. And because on Thursday, 2 days before, I believe it was Thursday or Wednesday, whatever it was, this same lunatic in the same area of Riverside, the murder took place on Golden and Stonewall, which is right near La Sierra High School, La Sierra Magnolia, near the 91 freeway. 3 days earlier, this same idiot attacked another woman with a skateboard. She was detained, she was arrested, and she was booked into the Riverside County Jail. The Riverside police did their job. That's all they can do. They arrest her, they book her. Because of this zero bail nonsense, it's supposed to be for non-felony or non-violent acts. This was obviously a violent act. I mean, if you were to hit me with a skateboard, it would be violent and it would hurt and it's an assault with a deadly weapon. Excuse me. She was booked, and because of this COVID zero free bail, she was given a citation and she walked out the door. Excuse me. Only to have happened what happened on Saturday. So the politicians of this state, whoever came up with this absolute ridiculous law that is killing people, you need to be held accountable. Okay, enough is enough. All right, we're opening up everything. Let's open. The jails should have never been closed in the first place. Okay, the jails needed to be more accepting of people during a pandemic, because these sons of bitches are out when you're not supposed to be out committing crimes. Keep them. If you have to go out and take over a Sears building that's abandoned in Riverside and have a makeshift jail with porta potties and bag lunches, by all means, do it. Okay? Don't tell me you can't. Don't tell me you can't. Go pitch tents in the desert and put these fuckers out there. All right.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. It's an excuse for the legislature in this state to be lazy and fuck the good citizens.
What's the point of arresting people then? What's the point?
To go on their record.
Yeah.
To put it on their record.
Oh, I'm sure the victim really cares about that record.
I know. Okay. This has gone on long enough. We have got, in the first place, too many soft liberal judges, too many soft liberal politicians. We've got a DA in LA County that might as well be the public defender. Okay, people are going to laugh at me. They're going to think I'm a lunatic. They're going to think I am an absolute madman and I've lost my mind, which I may have. But I said this in a Facebook post, and I'm sure people thought this guy's lost his rocker. He's off his fucking rocker. I am calling for the immediate arrest of Gavin Newsome. I want him arrested and put in jail for contributing to all of these heinous murders and horrific acts, because his leadership, not only did he fail during the pandemic, not only did he fail with the EED, not only did he fail, he's an epic failure in everything he does. And now he's hurting people with his inattention and inaction and enabling of these out of control, violent, felon, mentally unstable fucks to go out there and commit murder on good people. You had the same thing in San Dimas a week or so ago. The lady out walking her dog and some whack job kills her. You had the family in Pasadena, although it was family related, guy go in and kill his uncle and aunt, I believe it was. When's it, you've got to have a certain level of punishment and a certain level of detention for these people.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, Bill.
Otherwise, we're going to go back to the old West. Everybody's going to have a 6-shooter on their side, and when somebody looks at you cross-eyed, you're going to blow them away.
Okay, not to make light of it, but okay, you call for the arrest of Newsome, but then he's just going to get let out, like these criminals are getting let out. So it kind of like, what's the point? What's the point of arresting someone? Well, for his record? Okay, it's on his record. I mean, okay. But I hear what you're saying.
He needs to be held accountable. Mm-hmm. Okay, yes. Is he going to be recalled? It looks as though it's almost certain that it's going to be on a ballot, and he's got to be removed. He's got to be. I mean, I would take Khloe Kardashian as governor over him, or bring back that porn chick when what's his name, Schwarzenegger won. Anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, God, if Gary Coleman was still alive, he ran the last time. Bring him in. I mean, my God, man, this guy is an absolute failure. The whole retirement home saga with putting COVID patients in there and taking them back in after they were hospitalized, just like Cuomo. He has no regard for life or property or anything.
No, and that's the hypocrisy of it all, is that people like Newsome, they want to preach to you all they want about safety and saving lives. You don't care about people's lives because you are in favor of letting out violent criminals who then they don't waste any time. That's the crazy thing, Bill. I don't want to call them people because, someone who does that to someone's not a person, but to just turn a blind eye and like, oh, well, that's just how people are, criminals, let them out. I mean, that's horrific. And it's the Final Four was this weekend, and I want to look at 4 states in honor of the Final Four: California, New York versus Florida and Texas. Could those two, the California, New York side of the bracket, we'll say, could not have done things worse and is still doing things worse. Florida and Texas, I'm sure they made mistakes, but this stuff would never fly in those states. I mean, the absolute lunacy is ridiculous.
No. I can't, unless there is some corruption that is so far down that not even the average Joe like myself can conceive. I don't know what is driving this horrific woke cancel culture. Let's let everybody out. Let's open the jails and only put cops in. Okay. Granted, there are some cops that belong in jail. I'll be the first one to tell you. And I think that knucklehead in Minnesota is going to be spending a great deal of his future in a jail. Okay. There are certain things that you can't condone. And once you permit it, you promote it.
Yes.
And that is what Newsome and his band of idiots are doing.
Law and
I'm
order.
trying to be as calm as I can right now because I'm not ready to fucking explode.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't have law and order, I mean, what do we have? We don't have a society with chaos. Yeah.
We've got complete anarchy.
I mean,
and if that's what you want, fine. Let's all. Hey, you tell us. Okay, time to saddle up and just start. Every man for himself. Fine, I'm good with that. Let's go.
Tell me the rules and I'll play by them. Right?
There are no rules. Tell me there are no rules, and by God, I'll be the biggest fucking non-rule person there is.
Oh boy. Yeah, Bill, that's sad stuff. And just when you think it can't be worse in California, I mean, this state is so bad. It's getting worse. And make no mistake about it, there's actually people who they don't like they want chaos. They don't want a free society where there is law and order. They want absolute chaos. It promotes their brand, I guess. I don't know.
I'm to the point now. I mean, I live in a very safe neighborhood. However, about a month ago, 3 weeks ago, there was a mother and her daughter killed by a home invasion knife attack. And I don't know the ins and outs of that investigation. I don't know if there's a suspect they're looking at, but from what all my sources tell me is they have nothing on that. They have nothing but a blurred image of some guy walking on a trail by the house.
Wow.
Now, do you know how many times I've been tempted in the past 3 weeks at about 1 a.m. to saddle up, put a couple weapons on, and just go walking around?
Wow.
And either
really
find something or pretend I'm a victim. Now, I know that sounds crazy, and I haven't done it, but the thoughts cross my mind. Now, I'm either bored and really fucked up and need to consider watching porn in the middle of the night or something, or I don't know. But I'm sick and fucking tired of criminals running amok, and the cops do a great job. The Riverside Police Department has done, and I'm not saying it just because I work there, okay? In fact, the shit I'm saying, they probably want to distance themselves from it because they think I'm a lunatic, all right? But I'll say this, they've worked undaunted and unwavered in all this bullshit. They go out and they make arrests nightly, daily. They've taken guns off the street. I have a friend, this kid who's on that department now. He's been on about not even less than a year. He has taken more guns off people in less than a year than I ever did in 27 years. Okay. Not that he's out there working and his ass off that hard. It's just out there. Mm-hmm. We had to hunt and that was the big one back in the day. If we, arrested somebody in a car that had a gun, that was huge. Now it's just a daily occurrence. And these folks aren't Ma and Pa Kettle out there getting from point A to point B to make sure they're safe. These are violent, parolee, jackass assholes that are out dealing drugs. They're out stealing, and they're armed with automatic weapons.
Wait, I thought you couldn't purchase firearms if you have a criminal record, and that's a law, Bill.
Yeah, you keep listening to the fucking idiotic Democrats, okay? Yeah, that's what they're going to
keep making laws. They work.
Keep listening to that spew.
Yeah.
Okay. It's regurgitated bacterial throw up is what they're giving you. Mm.
Yeah, indeed. Well,
anyway, we've kicked the shit out of that. God, I feel bad for the lady. I feel bad for her family. Completely unnecessary.
That's horrible. And you don't see it in the news, Bill. Isn't it weird? Isn't it weird? You don't see stories like this in the news. Why is that?
It was very light. Now, let me tell you something. If this was a crazy white male who did this, CNN, ABC, NBC would be setting up live remotes from the scene of this murder. Okay. It was a Hispanic, whacked out 23-year-old female. And that's been glossied over because guess what? The media is state run by the Democrats. They're funded by them and they do what they're told. And there's some really good journalists out there. There's also some horseshit journalists. There's people behind these cameras that didn't take a journalism class in their life. They're just pretty faces repeating what is put in their earplug. And that's a shame. Mm-hmm. That is a shame. You know, I'm not saying all, but a great deal of them are very liberal and they hate the man and the man is bad and everybody else is right.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at, folks.
Oh, it's pretty sad. You know, Bill, I saw some cop shows from not too long ago, actually. And I kept hearing them talk about, it was actually a female lieutenant who was making the call out. And she was saying, I need more manpower. Send me every man you got. And I was like, wow, I don't think that could be said today. I don't think they would say manpower anymore.
Well, I'll tell you what.
I think we're going that direction.
Back, you know, I had a female partner for about a year in 1986. And God bless her. I'm not going to say her name because, you know, I don't want to embarrass her. There's nothing to embarrass about. She was a good partner. One night, I went home early and I still have my radio on when I'm in the station. And when she went, you know, you have to let dispatch know that you're now a one-person car, which is what they would say nowadays. Well, this is 1986. And, you know, she was all female, trust me. She got on the air and she goes, yeah, ID 473, which was me, is now 107. I'll be a one-man, ID 224, whatever the hell she was. Mm-hmm. I'll be a one-man. I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, did she have a sex change in the last 15 minutes? And I didn't think anything.
It's just the terminology.
That's just the terminology.
Yeah. And we just glossed.
And now, my God, that would be breaking news.
Yeah. Well, again, changing the verbiage. We got to change everything. Change it. Change everything. Okay. To some other news. Okay. Huge news in the Major League wokeness that is Major League Baseball. Everything was great. The season started. We have fans in the stands. Great opening day. And then some news on Friday that Major League Baseball is moving their All-Star game out of Atlanta. They haven't said where yet because of this new voting bill that was passed in Georgia. A voting bill that oppresses voters. Bill, I don't know where to even start with this. There's over 30 other states who have probably more restrictive voting policies than Georgia does. But the big one is just having to present an ID to vote. What a concept. Identify who you are.
Okay. First of all, there are some really, really hypocritical, two-faced bastards that are hooked up in this thing. First of all, Major League Baseball. Rob Manfred is a complete disgrace to Major League Baseball.
Yes.
He needs to be out immediately. I posted something on Facebook on Friday when this came out. I was very, 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 very critical of him. And I got thumbs up from people that were former Major League Baseball players or former Major League umpires. They gave me a thumbs up on this. And I thought I'd catch hell. Like, Bill, you got to shut the fuck up, man. What are you doing? You know, well, no, I don't. The last time I checked, I don't. Okay. So he is a disgrace to do that. He is shitting on the memory of Hank Aaron. Hank Aaron was an Atlanta Brave back in the day. He just passed a couple months ago. So we're going to screw Cobb County, Georgia, their small business, their hotels, all that because of a political move. It should have no bearing on baseball, okay? Rob Manfred has stuck his toe in the water that he doesn't belong in, and sooner or later, there's going to be an electrical current in it, and it's going to shock the shit out of him, okay? He is way out of his league. The hypocritical part of this is, I'm 61 years old. I look like I'm 80, okay? I go to a game. I buy a beer. They want to see ID.
What about the will call tickets at Major League Baseball requires an identification, right?
Correct. They also, Delta Airlines is part of this thing.
Oh, yeah.
Delta, don't you have to show ID?
To get on a plane?
To fly?
Yeah.
Last time I checked, you do.
What? I want to know what part of this is racist, because let's not beat around the bush. This is what people, it's a racist bill. What in there makes it harder for one race of people to vote over another. And once again,
this is designed for the sick, lame, lazy, whether they be white, black, Hispanic, Asian, whatever. This whole is designed for absentee voters that are completely absent, to where the Democrats can vote for them. That's all it is. That's all it is. If you can't figure that out after the last fucking election, you're as dumb as a box of rocks.
You would think from the articles I've seen published and the headlines that they've said people can't vote. They're not allowed to vote anymore. That's what it is. The press is pushing.
If I were a black male or a Hispanic male or an idiotic white male, which I could be, I would be offended that you think I don't have the wherewithal to go vote with an ID. You don't think that I have the ability to go and vote legitimately?
That right there is discrimination.
Absolutely.
That's what I constantly say. It's like anytime you say someone is not capable of doing something, that's prejudice.
And you know what? And screw Dave Roberts for being the consummate company man that he is. Okay. Here's a guy that says he's the manager of a baseball team, but he takes direction from the computer people upstairs on changes and on pitching matchups and on everything else. So he is the consummate company man. So if he's going to let these egghead computer people dictate how he manages a baseball game, you're damn right he's going to be a good company man and a yes sir man to the commissioner on a situation like this. All right. Now, I think Dave Roberts is probably a very nice man. He's probably a really good motivator. He's a good clubhouse guy. He's probably a good guy to play for. However, as a leader, I think he needs some work.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's being his own man when it comes to. Now they're paying him an outlandish amount of money to be a robot in the dugout. When they tell him, have this guy hit and run, he doesn't. Because if he doesn't, he overrides him and it goes to shit, it's his ass. If he takes his orders and it goes to shit, hey, I'm just doing what I was told. It's not my fault. I couldn't manage that way. I couldn't play that way.
No.
I couldn't do any job that way.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know who I want to publicly say shame on you is President Biden. President Biden
daily.
Yeah. Well, Bill, he referred to this as quote, Jim Crow laws. Do you have any idea what the Jim Crow laws, voting laws were, President Biden? Do you have any idea? That was real oppression. That was real racism and prejudice. This is what you comparing the current Georgia voting bill to that totally diminishes what the injustice that happened back then.
Remember what color diaper he wore yesterday or this morning when he got up. Okay. He's you talk about a program company man from the Democrats. That is Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think it's only taken about 3 months now for the Democrats to figure out that they've got a complete brain dead pile of dog shit in Kamala Harris. Her hysterical, barstool, giggling drunk giggle of hers and her laughter at things such as, are you going to go down to they put her in charge of the border situation. And what's she doing? Nothing. They put her, and she was asked about parents, having to teach their kids Zoom. And she broke into a hysterical hyena laughter. It's a nervous laughter because she doesn't know what to say. Mm-hmm. She's caught off guard. She's got off guard with, hey, how are you this morning? She doesn't know what to say there either. She's a complete idiot. Okay. She's gotten her way to where she's at by being subservient in manners that women do for men. Okay. Read between the lines. Okay. And her not knowing the etiquette to salute.
Shoulder must have been hurt or something.
When she gets on the airplane, completely unacceptable. Mm-hmm. Okay. And She is a complete epic failure. And why the Democrats rolled the dice with her, even they're starting to figure her out now. And I firmly believe they're going to keep Biden on life support, at least through his term.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to see her step in because even the Democrats think, oh my God, what have we done?
Well,
if they're smart, which that the jury's out on that, you know, let's hope so.
Well, much like an ugly game, Bill, an ugly victory, that's all that matters is who has the points at the end of the game. And that's kind of what I feel to your analogy for your topic there is that whatever the case is, they got the ball, they got the game, they're winning. And so they don't need to be, it doesn't need to be a pretty win. I want to go, okay, for total transparency here. I'm going to look at the New York Times, which is by far no bastion of right-wing politics or anything. They're about as left as you can get. These are a few of the significant changes to voting in Georgia as were diagnosed by a New York Times writer. These are some bullet points. Voters will now have less time to request absentee ballots. Well, how much time do you need? The election's in 4 years. Start your absentee ballot stuff now. Be ready. Strict, and I love the language of the New York Times too. Strict new ID requirements for absentee ballots. Don't you want an absentee ballot to be authenticated? Why? What part is bad about that? Don't you want that piece of paper, whatever it is you send in, to be?
This is something we've done for 200 and some odd years. The only time we changed this and went to this farce is because of the pandemic, to make it easier for people to vote during the pandemic. Well, by all accounts, the pandemic is winding down. And, you know, this shit should be stopped now. I believe by the next, unless they drag this out and Fauci is still mouthing his bullshit in 2024, it should go back to the way it was, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and California with their ridiculous shit. I mean, come on. It's like they are making it so all of the criminals, all of the undocumented workers, all of the people that are, for some reason, are too lazy or inefficient to register to vote, can't qualify to vote. Doesn't mean they will vote, but those ballots will be proxied by Democrats.
Yeah.
It's very, very simple. Yeah. How can these morons, how can these pillars of complete anarchy be voted in by common, like-minded, decent people, whether you're Democrat or Republican? How can that happen?
I hear you there, Bill. A couple more bullet points here from the New York Times, just because it's laughable to me, the language they use at times to like prove their point. And if you just read news with an open mind, and as you just listen to the little rhetoric, I mean, I would hope more people would understand. Drop boxes still exist, but barely. Well, what does that mean? Like, come on, New York Times. Mobile voting centers like an RV are essentially banned. Well, I got no issue there. This one is hilarious because they lie. They leave out facts. Offering food or water to voters waiting in line now risks misdemeanor charges. They left out the part where it only restricts people who are basically running the polling place. So you can't just, encourage.
I'll tell you, man, all the times I've gone to vote, I've had catering companies come up to me and offer me donuts, burgers, sandwiches, Cokes. I mean, my God.
I can't believe all the racism in this new bill. It's crazy.
It's completely racist.
Everything about this is ridiculous. It's just, I got to stop now.
It's a slam into their narrative.
Mm-hmm.
And they've reacted like the little spoiled bitches that they are.
Well, you notice that anytime you start presenting facts, you start to analyze actual data.
Facts mean nothing.
The F word?
Facts?
Oh, yeah.
Facts?
No.
Facts that when you release a violent criminal on a citation, they got murder. That is a fact, my friend.
No, Bill, that's you are speaking racist. You are racist, right? That's all you have to do to, instead of debate or have a conversation, if you smear something, nope, you're racist. Like as soon as you are dismissed, you've won the argument. Like how many times you had a baseball argument, Bill, and you're talking about what happened. And as soon as a coach goes, oh, that's BS. It's like, okay, well, he's got nothing left to say. It is what it is. So, all right. Shame on Major League Baseball. Rob Manfred. I know I was looking forward to watching a little baseball this year. I'm not sure how much I'm going to watch this year.
What, man, it took the wind out of my sail to watch baseball now. I really don't care. In fact, the Dodgers, I could give two shits if they win another game this year. Okay. I know there's a lot of Dodger fans out there, a lot of Dodger fanatics that love the Dodgers, yada, yada. Okay, great. All right, good. I've now taken a step back. I don't feel it's in my best interest for my mental sanity to really follow baseball like I used to. And it's a game I love. Mm-hmm. When Rob Manfred is replaced and you bring in a common sense commissioner, when all this woke cancel culture shit has been put to bed, which who knows when that's going to be, I may watch it again, but I'm watching it I did watch last night. I watched Ohtani hit a 700-foot home run and throw the ball 114 miles an hour. That was pretty entertaining. Bat second as a pitcher, I thought I was watching Ontario National Little League game. Best hitter in the lineup, batting second. But hey, Joe Madden, do what you want. God bless you. You're an innovative manager. Good, go. But they play defense like a little league team.
Oh yeah. We're going to talk some baseball. We're going to talk some sports, but I do say Major League Baseball, you better be careful. Okay, the NFL can basically survive anything. The NBA ratings have gone incredibly down because of some of their policies. So Major League Baseball, you need to really analyze what you're doing here, because I think it's going to be devastating to you in the long run. This whole let's be on the side of woke and it's all nonsense.
Agree.
Okay. Bill, we have a lot of questions, a lot of topics here. Look right into that camera. You ready? You need any coffee or anything? You good to go?
I can wait.
We can get fired up here. Okay. Let's see. Coach Tirico, Will Tirico. He says, I think you'll cover it all. The UCLA reaction and Major League Baseball moving the All-Star game.
Which we just did.
We pretty much did. And Will, we talked about the UCLA game and the national championship preview in a Facebook live video that we did Monday morning. So you can go back and look at that. But anyway, an amazing basketball game from UCLA. Okay, Bill, this is from Todd Carson. And this is in regards to officiating, umpiring. Mm-hmm. He says, what have you done or what should you do when a player or coach gets on you and they are right? You messed up a call. Obviously, if it's a rule discrepancy that can be fixed, but what about like outs and safe? If the guy wasn't a jerk, did you perhaps consider giving him one maybe later, close play for making it up?
No. What I did do is this, and I did it a couple times. If the guy's an asshole, whether it be a coach, manager, or player, they get nothing from me. They get nothing. They get zero. They deserve a shitty call every once in a while. Okay, in my opinion.
Part of the game.
Yeah, part of the game. I didn't mean to. It wasn't intentional. I didn't go to intentionally screw them. However, there have been times that if it's a good, level-headed, humble ball player, if I bang him out on strike three and I go, oh, shit, that was inside. And he just looks at me like, really, dude? And walks away. 2 at-bats later, I've done this, but you have to have trust in this guy that he's not going to shit backwards on you. I have gone up and said, hey, I think that call third in the third inning might have been a little inside. That's my bad. Okay, keep hacking, and they appreciate honesty.
Yeah,
very few ball players I'll do that to.
Yes,
very few, because they will shove it up your ass.
Oh, and quite honestly, a lot of them are dishonest.
Right.
They'll say you said something when you didn't. It's like, okay,
but there's been a couple that I've had trust in to where I've done that, and that was never in college. Never in high school, but a couple guys that had big league experience and then went to the American Association. So they're playing there for a hobby, basically. And they were mature enough to understand that. And they didn't perceive that as a weakness on your part. Mm-hmm. They perceived it as a human being honest.
Yeah.
Okay. There were coaches at the Division I level that knew they'd come out and they knew you kicked it. And when they looked in your eyes, they could see, okay, Bill, just admit to me you kicked it and I'll be your friend again. I said, I'm not going to do that right now.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not going to do that right now. I said, get your money's worth, because you know what? Read between the lines there, Skipper. I'm not going to do it right now. So you might as well get your money's worth because you're not getting anything out of me right now.
Yeah. I'd love to have another look at that one, Skip.
You know? Absolutely.
You know,
I've said that.
That says it without saying it.
And now, have I, when they've been on the good side of things, and I did this with an old skipper who'd been around forever, and a guy named Tim Johnson, who managed the Tucson Toros in the Golden Baseball League. He was a former manager of the Toronto Blue Jays. Again, back in those days, we were housed with the visiting teams. So a guy like Tim, who liked to have a Pepsi Cola after a game, I would see him in the bar, and he'd wave, and I'd wave, and he'd call me over. And he used to call me Barnesy. He goes, Barnesy, you did a good job tonight, except for that one fucking out that you said he was safe. And I said, okay, Timmy, God damn it.
Thanks.
I owe you a beer on that one. I kicked the shit out of it. He goes, that's all right. He goes, you know how many times I put on a bunt and I should have hit and run? You know, I fuck them up too. Mm-hmm. So those kind of guys, hey, they will take it to their grave and they'll be decent about it. There are some that you don't admit it until you stand your ground and you don't give in.
No.
But there are some that you can be a human being with.
If you come out like a maniac, sorry, I got nothing for you. There's no conversation that's going to be had. And conversely, if I give you an explanation and then you lose your mind, okay, now your credibility is done too.
Gary Adcock at Cal Baptist. I've known Gary. I umpired him when he was in Pony League. Okay. And his voice hasn't matured since he was 12 years old either. He still comes out with a whiny, squeaky voice. I love Gary to pieces. I just texted him the other night. They're having a great year. They're down at Rio Grande playing. Anyway, there was a call at third base one time, and it was when we were adjusting to a new mechanic. My plate umpire came up on the old mechanic, and I was there where I should have been, and I just for a moment, I looked over and I saw the guy there and I go, what the hell is he doing here? I missed the play. I didn't see the play.
Oh.
So I look back and I go, and the other umpire goes, go ahead, Bill. So I called him out, and I guess he was safe as fuck. Okay. Cause I didn't see the play. Instead of just shutting it down and going over to my plate guy who was there, probably saw it better than I did. I stood I was in shock. I was like, deer in the headlights. Gary goes, Bill, my God, how can you miss that? He goes, for God's sakes, man, what were you looking at? I go, Gary, look at my body language. Read between the lines here. Yeah. He goes, okay, you kicked it. I get it, but I just want you to get the call right. I said, well, I will next time. And that was it.
That's it.
That's it. I mean, what can you do? What can you do? I mean, once you kind of give them the impression that you understand you fucked up, unless they just want to get kicked out and keep arguing, they're going to shut up and go away. They're going to be pissed and they're going to be angry, but you know what? Life goes on. I had
I'll say his name, Randy Benton at Cal Poly. There was a play at the plate and he came out and he argued, and Randy and I think have a decent rapport, decent relationship. Like he can get hot, his assistants can get hot, but there's always a professionalism there. And there was a play at the plate and the kid slid in, and it was one of those where the ball beat him. It was close, but the tag was a little high on maybe the hip, and I was like, hey, he's like, how's he not out there? I said, hey, he got in, he got his, he got his foot in before the tag was applied. And Randy goes, he slid head first. And I went, well said. I got no response for that one.
I mean, sometimes you just have to, throw in the towel and hope that, the house doesn't burn down.
Yeah. It's like, oh, maybe I didn't see what I thought I saw.
Again, answering the question, sometimes you don't give in, depending on the person. You go to the mat with it. Sometimes you basically, in a very, very, very clandestine manner, admit you fucked up.
Yeah, that's it. So there is a time and a place, but again, if you're a maniac, I can't.
You gotta trust your enemy on that one.
Oh, all right, Bill. This is from Freddie Monteblanco. He says, "What other profession interested Bill besides becoming a cop, or maybe a couple different professions that you thought about getting into?"
Yeah. When I was going to school, and then especially after when I started like my freshman, sophomore year, my intention was to be a coach, a baseball coach, PE teacher, because those guys don't do shit. They take roll and throw out a couple of tether balls and stand there and flirt with the girls. Okay. And I thought, hey, that'd be a cool job. I mean, you get an anatomy and physiology degree. You're supposed to know which muscle's connected to which bone. Well, I'll tell you what, I was never taught that in high school. Were you? I was always taught, hey, go out there and be the best badminton shuttlecock hitter you can be. All right. So I'm thinking, man, that'd be a cool job, wear shorts and a t-shirt all day and then go have lunch and then put on your baseball uniform and go out and coach in the afternoon.
That's it. Nice day.
That would have been but you know what? I had to work hard in school and I had to study and I had to take classes that I didn't like. And I said, you know what? Fuck this. I was out one night at a Denny's restaurant about 2 a.m. and I saw these cops in there drinking coffee and waitresses flirting with them. And I said, hey, now that is for me. That is for me. Drive fast, point guns at people, and have chicks flirt with you. Where do I sign up? So, in a nutshell, prior to my chosen profession, I had thought about being a coach.
Wow.
Never did I want to be a civil engineer, an airline pilot. For God's sakes, never a fireman. Those were my 2 options, and I went with option B, and here I am.
What about a radio broadcaster or podcast?
That's what I want to do now. I mean, I love if there were 2 fantasy jobs I had. The first one, if you heard my voice singing, is completely out of the question. I wanted to be a Vegas lounge act, singing either Frank Sinatra, Paul Anka, or
Oh yeah, sleep till the afternoon, get up, have a little dinner,
I got a little Bob Goulet in me, But my voice is dog shit, therefore that's out of the question. So now, I listen to these lunatics, John and Ken, in the afternoon, and they inspire me. I listen to recently late G. Gordon Liddy.
Yes.
I listen to his show, The G-Man, and I thought, my God, this guy is brilliant. I mean, great, staunch, right-wing, Richard Nixon supporting White House plumber from back in the day. Went in, fucked up the burglary at the Watergate, took 100% responsibility for it. In fact, when it was going down, he said, I am not a snitch. I will take my lumps. You want to put me in prison for 50 years? Do it. Well, they put him in for 20 years, but he got an early out. He went to, I believe it was the chief of staff for Nixon, a guy named Bob Halderman, a UCLA grad, by the way, another crook in the whole Nixon thing, and said, Mr. Halderman, I completely fucked this up. It's my bad. I said, if you want to kill me, tell me which corner to be on, have your snipers ready, and I will be there and kill me. Do not come to my house. Do not leave blood in my home. I have a wife and daughters. Please spare me that. If you do want to kill me, tell me where to be. Have your mechanic there to take me out. So I thought, wow.
That's commitment, man.
This guy's
team player.
Yeah. I mean, how much more commitment can you get out of him? And he had a radio show. I loved his radio show. The only time I took exception with anything he said was, and I think he had it, his intentions were well intended, but I still didn't like it, is when ATF and I believe the FBI and somebody else fucked up the Ruby Ridge shooting where they killed Randy, whatever his name was, his wife and kid.
Yeah.
And
very awful.
His response to that was, when a federal officer comes through your door without a warrant and you need to defend yourself, you shoot them in the head because they wear bulletproof vests.
Oh, man.
I thought, come on.
Yeah,
that's a little much, dude. That's a little much. Call off the dogs, take it back. But he didn't, and people kept on listening. And I gave him, I was in the mid-90s. I was a cop then. And I thought, what an asshole. Why would he say that? I love the guy. But when he says something like that, I just lose a little respect for him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But I gave him a mulligan. And he showed up when Richard Nixon died. And he was buried out at his library in Whittier. Liddy showed up 3 hours early to the funeral, sat in a chair by himself and stared at the burial site of where Nixon was going to be buried. And just for 3 hours sat there in complete stoic silence and laid, tribute to the guy who put him on the map in more ways than one.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
So the G-Man has gone. He left us at age 90, I believe, on Monday. So Godspeed, G. Gordon Liddy. I know you're probably up there having a spiritful, heated debate with the maker himself. So don't let your mouth override your ass, or your ass override your mouth, and be a good angel and do what you're told.
Yeah, there you go. Absolutely. Well, great discussion there with Fred's question. So a coach, a PE teacher, or a
wannabe G-Man,
radio broadcaster. I could see you having a table in Vegas, just a table where you come out and like a podcast kind of, but you have a live studio audience and you just not quite tell jokes.
Well, that's what he did.
But you just kind of,
that's what the G-Man did with Timothy Leary, the LSD advocate, the hey, drop out, get high guy.
Oh,
and and him and Leary would travel on this little situation, and they would come out and they'd have debates about drugs versus not, and this and that, and people really loved it. He made a lot of money doing that.
Yeah.
So the G-Man was he could do just about anything.
G. Gordon.
Except burglarize a fucking building, an office building, or whatever the hell it is.
Watergate. Wow. Okay. Nick Gonzalez writes in. This is a baseball question for you, Bill. You mentioned it already about Ohtani's performance last night, but Nick says, can Ohtani have a sustained success being a hitter and pitcher, or are the Angels better off having him focus on just one or the other?
Well, here's an if. Okay. And again, it doesn't mean anything because it does. I see a rule change coming in baseball.
Okay.
Where, like in college, if you list your pitcher/DH.
Yeah.
Okay. So last night, what could have happened was Ohtani's hitting in the second hole, pitching. You put /DH. Once he's lifted as the pitcher, he can still remain as the DH. I see that rule change coming next year.
And they call it the Ohtani rule?
The Ohtani rule. Okay? I see that coming. So, in the interim, I think that here's the problem. When you pitch him, like Madden said last night, you want to put him high in the order so you can maximize his at-bats, his plate appearances. That's the only way you can do it if he's pitching. Because once you pull him, now you're going to a National League type lineup. So I would do nothing but DH him. And on the day he pitches, do what Joe did last night.
Yeah, because as a pitcher, he can't really play other positions, right? Because it would be stress on his arm maybe.
Right. DH and pitch every 5 days or whatever the hell it is. And,
So because of that.
And maybe rest him the day before he pitches, or just have him come off the bench.
That's true.
That would be about the most sensible way to deal with him.
He can clearly play both sides of he's clearly a two-way player, a pitcher and a hitter.
Yes.
And he does both well. So I don't think why not utilize him? Because of his situation, he will probably never play for a National League team because of that. The ability to, sit back and hit rather than he'd have to play a position unless we go to the universal DH, which could be maybe a tie-in to that.
That's coming. And mark my words, April 5th, 2021. You heard it here first. Next year, there will be a pitcher/DH rule in baseball.
They want more offense. That's, I guess, one way to do it. Okay. This is kind of funny. I sent you some of these questions in advance. You remember the one with Kevin's? I sent you about the bridals. I'll read this question to you. He goes, this is for Bill Barnes. Speaking of happy endings, how many stores are expected to be fronts? He says, growing up in Temple City, there was a bridal shop every other building on Las Tunas. I don't know if you've driven through there, but the whole street is lined with bridal shops.
Bridal shops because it's always been bad luck to me.
He says, I always wonder how they stayed open when I never saw one person walk in. As law enforcement, what warrants a bust on places like this and all other massage parlors? And by the way, Kevin is not saying those places are those things.
Okay.
But
I don't know anything about bridal shops, but I can tell you I have a little experience in massage parlors, working Vice. If every so often we would go in and this guy's under the auspice that we're just some, slapdick off the street wanting a massage. And if they couldn't tell we were cops, they'd, once we rolled over, they'd point and go, whatever. And you either said yes or no. And if you said yes, once they started, you would stop them and the gig's up, and boom, you're going to get cited for, solicitation to engage in, whatever it may be. Or if we had complaints from the citizens. Well, the only time we got a complaint is if some knucklehead didn't get the service he wanted. And so then we would act on those.
Thanks, Kevin.
Illegal, this female marketing thing has really taken off over the years. And I don't know what the new criteria is. I know that whenever I went into one back in the day when I was working, we always had a 65-year-old sagged out, barely speaking English grandmother type. And there's no way you could get excited for such a thing. So I didn't think it was that big of a problem, at least for me at the time, because nothing she would offer me excited me. So we had to play the game. So it's a lot different now than it was then, from what I understand. I'm not saying I have never had a massage in the last 25 years, but it's always been with a reputable firm, not one of these mom and pop Charlie Chan joints down on Foothill Boulevard. So, so that's the best I can answer that question.
Yeah. Okay, we'll leave it at that, Senator. Yeah. Thanks a lot, Kevin Scarpio. Always great questions from the high desert.
The high desert, man. The heat is on, and it's baking the brain to answer some really, really riveting questions.
All right. This is one from our good friend John Lee up in Oregon.
Big John.
Yeah.
Love to hear from John.
Yeah, he's great. He says, I would like to hear a breakdown or a comparison of the Adam Morrison UCLA Gonzaga thriller back in 2006 versus the one that just happened. I know Bill's not a basketball guy, but it could be an interesting topic comparing those two games.
Well, I know that Adam Morrison cried like a little woman when he lost in 2006 on the court. Okay. That I do remember. Okay. I don't know who they played. I don't know the circumstances.
UCLA.
Oh, was it UCLA?
Yeah. They blew a 17-point lead to the Bruins.
Well, I'd cry too. Okay. I didn't know that. I do remember he looked like a 2-year-old that had his rattle taken away from him. Okay, and he's looking for his pacifier.
Yeah.
Okay. Come on, Adam. And then he was the radio guy.
Yes, I heard that.
I heard him explode and good for you, Adam. Great. Enjoy. You know what? I don't think you need to talk shit, because that's 2006. It's now 15 years ago. And let me just ask you this, Adam, if you're listening and you're going to answer me, tell me about the best play in your pro career.
Yeah. Being drafted. That was probably
being drafted.
Is a lottery pick. That's it.
There's 12 guys on the bench and you had the 12th seat. Okay. So how's that working for you now? You're doing the color commentary for Gonzaga. You're probably living in Spokane. You're the big man on campus. Good for you, man. Relish the victory. And, again, tell me how your pro career turned out.
Yeah, that's a reason to cry right there.
I'm about to cry right now because it's sad as fuck that the guy never got. He was the 12th guy on a team of 11, and he never got off the bench. He picked up the chair for the coach and put it down for him. Okay?
That's it.
So Adam, relish in this victory, man. 15 years coming. I hope your tears are drying.
Check out. Oh, he had the long hair to dry tears with. Check out that radio call if you want to hear. He's not the play-by-play, but he chimes yes as the shot goes up.
It was almost as good as Marcus Johnson back when the guy from UCLA went the distance in a layup.
Oh, Tyus Edney?
Yes.
Yeah.
Almost as good as Marcus Johnson.
I will say, John, that was one of the best basketball games I've seen. UCLA totally played out of their mind. We've already talked about this on the Facebook Live we did Monday. But, I mean, how can you top that? UCLA down 5 under a minute. They hit a 3, get a stop, tie the game with 3 seconds left. And then there were some great videos, Bill, of like UCLA Westwood Bars when they tied it going nuts, and then 3 seconds later it gets super quiet. Pretty funny stuff. But I think both games Gonzaga was supposed to be the favorite.
I have a funny story about when the guy hit the 3-pointer. I was sitting in a chair watching it in the living room. The person here with me, I yelled something like, "You got to be fucking shitting me!" And she goes, "What? What did I do?" I go, "Not you." Completely oblivious.
Yes.
While I was watching.
What just happened?
What did I do?
This is the beauty of video. You could see Bill's impressions here.
I mean, I came out of the chair, man. I'm thinking, okay, double overtime. Here we go.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, no, oh my God, that went in. I erupted with spontaneous
combustion,
spontaneous verbiage, foul language. And, I was whatever.
Okay.
Big win for Gonzaga. The win tonight. Go get them.
Yeah. So you, Bill, can attest to this, not from a basketball standpoint, but this is a really good question, I think, from John. He says, I would like to know from an official standpoint, how do you officiate differently with a minute or less on the clock? Why would you make a certain call in the meat of regulation, but not in the last seconds? Or does that happen? He's making a reference to, in the Real Hondo Prep game Thursday night, there was a pretty bad personal foul called late in the game. I saw the play happen, and my immediate thought was they're going to flag that. And then I looked at the back judge, and he was thinking about it. Because there was under a minute left, and he was like, he threw it late, so it looked really bad. But according the way the rules, this is the big reason I got out of officiating football. Some of the rules and things they want you to enforce, I can't support or believe in. So that type of play, they just don't want to happen anymore. So not a good time for it. There never is. But anyway, Bill, back to the question. Under a minute or in baseball, the last inning, I don't think any official wants to make a glamorous call under a minute left.
Jumps out at you.
Yeah.
Like a balk. You don't want to call balk in the ninth inning. You don't want to balk in the tying run or winning run.
You haven't called that all game.
You're right, because I haven't seen it all.
Yeah.
Okay?
You picked a bad time to do it.
Bad time to do it.
Uh-huh.
All right. If it can be supported, and if it's big on videotape, if the tape don't lie, if it can be supported, like that charge call the other night, outstanding call. It went against UCLA, but I haven't seen one person other than some dipshit UCLA fan who doesn't know a charge from a block say that it wasn't. It was a charge. If it jumps out at you, you got to call it because then it's on you. Yeah, you're the weak, pathetic one that chokes in the last inning, okay, or the last seconds of the game. A ticky-tack deal here or there, you might want to dismiss it.
What's a tough call you had to make in a huge situation? It was going to be an unpopular play at the very end of the game that probably decided a game. Does anything come to mind? Football or baseball? Yeah. I didn't call it, and none of us called it, although it was very, very close to being a balk. Bottom of the ninth, Division II championship game in a regional. Winner goes to Cary, North Carolina. The loser goes home. It's Sonoma State versus Cal Poly Pomona. I'm working third base. All right, thank God. We've got a young kid working second, and we have, I believe it was Tony Prater working first. Okay, and it wouldn't be his call anyway. It would either been me, the plate guy, it was Phil Detro, his last game ever. Wow.
Phil Detro, last game ever. And a kid from Washington, I can't remember his name. Good umpire. And I'm sorry he quit early, but he was a really good umpire and a great career ahead of him. The first baseman is playing behind it's first and third, or base. It was either first and third, bases loaded, 2 outs. Pomona's down 1, and they put the first baseman behind the runner at first. However, the pitcher's got a great move, and sure as shit, here comes the first baseman in behind. Boom. And it was one of those where, did he clear the rubber or didn't he when he stepped off?
Ooh, okay.
And spin moved him. Okay. It was one of those. And I had seen Sonoma all year, and I knew this guy was good for that. So I pre-pitched myself to watch this, and I go, I ain't calling it, because Randy's a smart coach, and he's going to tell Jimmy, his first base coach, to tell this guy to be aware of this shit. Well, none of that happened. None of that happened. And so it happens. He's out from me to the cabinet over there, and it's over, done. Mm-hmm. I'm walking off, and I have to go through Randy's dugout to get out of there.
Yep.
And Randy comes out, he goes, looks at me, he goes, so that's the way it ends, Bill? That's the way it's going to end? That's the way my season ends on that. I go, yeah. I go, it's tragic, but that's the way it ends. And he knew it, but it was damn close.
Yeah.
And it was huge ramifications, because if Pomona wins, they're in the World Series. Sonoma won, and they went back.
Yeah, there's a time to nitpick. Well, there really isn't a time to nit, but you don't want to go create drama.
We looked at it on tape the best we could. This was 2011, so the video wasn't as good as it is now. And I think we got it right.
Yeah. By
not calling it. There was nothing egregious in the move. So that's about the closest, most having big, having a big effect on someone's season was that. And it was a non-call.
In honor of March Madness, I have a quite crazy basketball story. When I was officiating, I was down in Orange County officiating a second round game. Some team from Hemet playing against El Medina High School. And
these boys or girls?
This is a boys game.
Because if it was girls, I wouldn't have given a shit.
Full gym, packed, absolutely packed. And couldn't hear yourself the whole game. It's back and forth. Great game. One of the best games I ever worked. And the visiting team is leading by 3 with about 2 seconds left. And they got to go the length of the court. I'm at the other end of the floor. This kid throws a baseball pass all the way up the floor. The defender goes up to try to get it. He comes up just short. The offensive player catches it and over his shoulder in front of his bench, and falling out of bounds, throws up this 3-pointer that goes in at the buzzer to tie the game. The stands emptied. All the entire students, the crowd, hundreds of kids run on the floor. This big, exciting play. And the visiting team's like, what is this? What is this? And I'm like, oh, I've never seen this before.
Did you call it technical?
What do we do?
Did you call it T?
We cleared the floor. We brought the coaches. We said, okay, we have a technical foul.
Perfect.
On the home team.
Good.
We are going to overtime. That was the first thing we said. We're going to overtime regardless.
Right.
So we're going to start overtime with 2 free throws for the visiting team.
And they get possession, right?
Well, did we do that? I think we tossed the ball still. But anyway, the kid, I think and we may have messed it up. So they may have gotten the ball. But anyway, whatever happened, they made 1 of 2. Mm-hmm. We go to overtime, and that team won the game by 1 point after a missed, very close shot in the paint by the home team.
It behooves you
so
to have security there to keep people off your court.
Yes, it does.
Okay.
It was uncomfortable getting off that court.
You enforce the rules as written, did you not?
Yes, we did.
Then you're covered.
We did.
It may be unpopular. It's unpopular when I go 80 miles an hour and I get a ticket, but they're enforcing the rules as written.
Yeah. And it's not like I was like, you know what? I hope people run on the floor after this game and we have to start overtime with a technical, which I've never done before. And that was not fun. So I wasn't looking for that. It just kind of happened, John. I don't think if I'm speaking for most officials do not want to make a big call at the end of a game. But when you put on the stripes, you put on the baseball umpire jersey,
Unless you're Joe West, you don't want to make a big call at the end of the game.
By the way,
and I love Joe. Joe just likes that, and that's fine. And Joe would not be mad if I said that.
No, Cowboy Joe. We love him here at the podcast. By the way, Bill, did you see? You got to be ready right out of the gate. Did you see the Dodger game? Bellinger hit the home run. Turner thought it was caught. He ran back to first. So Bellinger's out for passing. He hits the ball out of the yard.
Yes.
Great job by the crew. I got all kinds of messages. Hey, what's the rule?
Yes.
I'm like, those guys were ready to work.
That's an umpire school test question right there.
Absolutely.
And that was that was
a wild, man. Opening day. Passing. Turner running backwards, thinking the ball's caught, and Seager's out for the passing.
So
Even though the ball's dead, you have responsibility to run the bases
Yes.
and restrictions
That's
to
how
run the bases.
Robin Ventura only got credited with a single on a walk-off grand slam in 1999.
Oh, really?
Yes, he abandoned.
Oh, he didn't touch?
No,
Really?
he touched first base and that was it.
Well, there you go. Great stuff. Okay, this is, you mentioned women's basketball recently. I got to tell you something. I saw this. I rolled over in bed. I saw this notification on ESPN. I'm like, what is this? So not that you care, nor do I care, but Stanford beat Arizona in the women's national championship game Sunday night. But it was what the Arizona coach did after their upset of UConn, the national power on the women's side of things. They win every year. They beat UConn. And the Arizona basketball coach, her name, Bill?
Is Barnes.
Adia Barnes.
Yeah, she's a distant cousin who got all of the basketball talent in the family.
That's right.
No relation.
But I thought I'd bring it up though, because she was under scrutiny they were in a huddle after they've won and they're celebrating. She's giving this fiery speech. She threw up a middle finger and said probably F you to the doubters. I don't know, but she's in this.
So she is a Barnes.
She's a Barnes. That's why I brought it up.
Outstanding.
And so she was fired up, and her team, everything was in good nature. She was happy. The team was fired up, and ESPN, all these other, her language and her she gave the gesture and all this stuff. Anyway, what I love about it, Bill, they asked her to apologize. She said, "I'm not apologizing."
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
So I don't talk.
You think Mike Leach would apologize?
No, hey. No way.
The fact of the matter is, I'm not apologizing.
I thought it was great.
Mike's not going to apologize.
Yeah. So Adia Barnes, I don't know much about you, but hey.
I'm going to write her a letter.
Yeah. Hey, Uncle Bill here.
Yeah, hey, outstanding. When I come to Tucson, I want a place to stay. You can cuss at me all you want. I'll cuss back.
Yeah. She was using the language. It wasn't like she was talking to, adolescent teenagers or something.
She's talking to
her team.
Her student athletes probably use more foul language than she does.
Yeah. Yeah. I just thought it was interesting. It was a fiery, passionate speech. And I like people that don't bow down to the mob.
I don't trust people that don't swear. I don't trust people that don't swear and don't take an occasional drink. Okay? Those people I don't trust. If you don't swear and you don't drink, we're probably not gonna get along.
Bill, you got to make an exception because your big fan base is Rio Hondo Prep, and most of those people don't do either of those things. They're good people over there,
but they do it. They think about it, and as long as you think about it, and you're there with me in spirit, I can go with that. All right? Okay. You mean to tell me Freddie Monteblanco doesn't have a drink? I'm not. Well, Fred actually doesn't. Fred drinks like a fish.
Oh, nonsense! But I will say the alumni are a little different, but
and you don't drink?
Well, of course
and
I
your
do.
Brother Sam doesn't drink?
I'm saying the administration there and the the students there, and
well, of course the students. I'm not talking students. I'm talking the alum.
Alumni is a little different, but
I'm talking alum.
The coaches and administration.
Students. I don't cast any. Please.
Yeah.
Please. And if they're listening to this show,
they're in trouble.
They should be sanctioned. Okay. They should have their ears waxed. Okay. Do not listen to this show if you're a student. And if the admin can't handle it, please don't. All the respect in the world, but the alum, it's wide open.
Yeah.
You're a goddamn grown adult now.
Yeah.
Do what you want. So don't sit there and tell me.
I'm just saying.
The alumni doesn't drink.
Look, some
You're a liar and a fat mouth.
Some do, not all. People that stick around and coach there, very high standards, but they still love you. That's my point.
Beautiful.
Those people love you.
It's two-way.
Yeah.
It's two-way. In fact, I'm waiting. I want to go out there and I want to throw out the first pitch, even at a junior high game. I would love to lend my support to the program. Oh, well, we got to get you some Rio Hondo Prep gear for the podcast. And then we also, we're going to make that happen. Maybe I'm off on Thursday, so that would be great to go out there with Bill Barnes and we'll make a whole production of it. Absolutely. That'd be great. Okay. But the Barnes thing. I thought, Bill, have you seen any man card violations that have jumped out to you lately? Anything that's kind of, you've been like, what is that? Well, socks with sandals type of things. Oh, geez. I probably have. I just, chalk it up to another,
I saw a guy talking to his dog over the phone. I thought that was an incredibly big man card violation.
Man card violation. Let's see.
Come on, it's California, Bill. You got to have, it's got to be something.
Yeah, no, I really haven't.
Nothing really?
No, nothing phases me anymore. It goes in one eyeball and out the other, and I don't give it any thought because, I'm surrounded with mediocre, fucking idiotic people all the time.
I know. So do you listen to any podcasts? That you were telling me about the Brett Boone podcast is pretty good?
Brett Boone does an amazing job. Brett does a really good job. He usually has, top line folks on there. I think this week is John Olerud.
Oh, okay.
And then I think Greg Luzinski is going to be on there. He's had Greg Luzinski, for you people that are under 40, was a slugger for the Philadelphia Phillies. Couldn't catch a cold in Alaska in left field, but was a great hitter. Olerud was a damn good hitter. John Olerud was solid. Left-handed hitter for the Mariners and Blue Jays. In fact, funny story I got to bring this up. This shows you how smart and intelligent and on top of things Ricky Henderson was. Ricky wasn't the sharpest bulb in the lamp. Okay, we all know that. Nice sharpest man, great hitter, brightest base stealer. He had been one of the many teams he played with. He played with Olerud in Toronto, and 10 years later, I think they were with the Mets together as Olerud was finishing his career. He went up to Olerud and goes, "Hey man, how come you wear that helmet even when you're playing first base?" He goes, "Well, it's to protect me. I've got a soft spot in my skull, and if I'm hit there, it could create a lot of damage." "Oh, really? I played with a guy in Toronto that had the same problem."
Yeah, Ricky, that was me. Okay. Bill, you got to get used to working on camera now. You keep hitting the table and disturbing.
I'm sorry.
Look at that. I mean,
you know what? I'm going to handcuff myself to the chair.
Oh, that'd be good.
All right.
That would be really good.
I apologize.
Ricky,
if I'm making it uncomfortable for our 5 listeners, then you know what? Shame on me.
Oh, shame on you indeed, man. Well, Bill, we've chatted, man, we've hit it all today. We've talked about the basketball. We've talked about Major League Baseball. Talked about your stuff with the bail stuff. Moving right along. We're here in April. Can't believe it's officially been a year since the world stopped turning, right?
I believe it was a year today or a year on Wednesday. We did our first show. I believe it was the first.
It was
in April that we did our first show.
April 1st.
We have gone leaps and bounds since then. We are now on camera. We are now doing Facebook Live. We are much more solid in our technical savvy in this thing. I remember the first show we did, I put my phone on the kitchen countertop and you sent me a link and I was talking into my phone and I didn't know what the fuck I was doing except throwing F-bombs every once in a while to entertain the people. And we've come a long way in a year. I predict a year from now, we're going to have our own HBO special. We're going to have topless dancers come out and greet us, kind of like the Man Show, girls on trampolines. Okay. Adam Carolla is going to be begging to come on our show. All the big wigs are going to be saying, "Did you catch that fucking Barnes and Hersema last night?" All the talk show hosts, they're completely unhinged. They're completely out of their minds. That idiot Colbert is going to be calling us the devil, which is fine with me. To me, that would be a consummate compliment from a dipshit like him.
Yeah.
Okay. Bill Maher is going to be wanting to come on our show.
Yeah. Okay? Fair and balanced.
We're going to have a waiting list of the who's who to where we can pick and choose which slapdick we want to come on. Mm-hmm. And I'm all good with that.
It's exciting indeed. If we continue this rate.
Yeah. The doors are opening.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The doors are opening.
The doors are opening to bigger and much more electric shows.
I mean, we need some coffee cups that say "Get Home Safe." We need a background. I mean, there's a lot of things that are going to be in the works here. Yeah. Do you like doing our episodes on camera?
I do, because I get to look in the monitor and watch myself age every minute that we're on. And I see that why I'm no longer attractive to women anymore, because my face looks like the inside of somebody's butthole half the time. So I get it. I see now where I need to work on, I probably need to go see Max Factor or Merle Harmon or Merle, whatever it is.
Just more charm. You just got to continue the charm. That was always your ace in the hole anyway.
Right. I mean, you sway them through their ears, not through their eyes.
Ooh, I like that.
You make believers out of them. They fall in love with you through their ears, certainly not their eyes. Okay, because if it was their eyes, I'd have been a free agent for all.
Unrestricted free agent.
I'd have been hitting off pitching machines my whole life and never got any live pitching.
You always know how to tie it all in, Bill. I love it. I love the analogy.
Yes.
Oh boy. Wow. What a great thing. I like the preview. I like us doing that. We record Monday or Tuesday like we usually do. But we'll put a video so that on Wednesday we can post the video for fans to see it. But before we do any of that, like a pre-show, like a preview, an appetizer, as you said, on Mondays.
Yeah, it's a promo, man.
Promo. Hey,
it's a promo.
This is what you're gonna. I like that.
Yeah, it's a promo. This is. Let's give them a little taste.
Yeah.
And then they're gonna want to eat the whole thing. Right?
Draw them in with your ears, like you're talking about.
Sure.
Yeah. Sure. So stay tuned for that more, guys. We're going to look for Monday mornings, probably around 9 or 10 a.m. We're going to put out a Facebook Live video just saying, hey, we're recording this week. Here's some of the things we're going to talk about. So be ready.
I'll insult a couple people. I'll be my usual charming self and give you a story or two just to get you primed for the big meal. Get
the blood flowing. And at that time, listeners can be reminded, oh, yeah, we got to get questions in or topics for Bill to talk about. So that's the plan for now. Always evolving here at the Get Home Safe podcast. 1 year ago, Bill. Yeah, hard to believe, man. April 1st last year.
I believe it was the 1st of April. I was giving props to then Newsome because I thought he was doing a good job. And boy, was I a fucking idiot to ever think that was going to go over well. So we've learned a lot, and we've been indoors and all that. And now we're starting to breathe again, slowly but surely.
Slowly but surely.
Slowly but surely, we're starting to breathe again.
Yes, absolutely.
And, so anyway, wish everybody a good week, a good solid Wednesday afternoon to you, and a good solid rest of the week. And I'm in a better mood now because I've completely
let it out.
I've completely defecated all of the anger and poison I had in me through my mouth today. And I feel a lot better. I feel a lot more relaxed. I feel cleansed. And let me go. I'll watch some news later and I'll see what other kind of shit can piss me off to put me right back in the same foul mood that I was when this day started.
I remember when we recorded that episode, and during the episode, the first time I said, Bill, we got to do this every week. And you know what? Come hell or high water, we did. We did it with you in another country. We did it when you had COVID. We did it in person. We did it remote. I mean, we were sometimes the episode didn't get out till late Wednesday night.
We're like the United States Post Office. We're going to serve you no matter what. We're going to deliver through thick and thin. Nothing will stop us.
Absolutely.
Your mail may get there at 10 o'clock at night. Mine does. But we're going to be there eventually.
What can Barnes do for you? Absolutely. Bill, this has been fun. I'm looking forward to many more shows. It's we're going in a great direction.
Okay. I would do a mic drop right now, but I don't want to break it. Okay. All right. Good day to you.